Have you ever stopped to think about how, suddenly, time seems to have caught up with you, even without you realizing it? But what if I told you that it's not just the passage of time that's aging you? Many of those habits you consider harmless are actually working silently, wearing down your body and mind without you noticing. Those little details you ignore day after day are, over time, making a difference. While you think everything is under control, those habits are leaving their marks on you. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what truly matters, not to waste our energy on what steals our peace. But are you really taking care of what's essential in your life? Maybe it's time to stop sabotaging yourself, ready to discover which habits you need to eradicate right now. Stay with me until the end, because you'll be surprised by what I have prepared for you. But before we begin, listen to this story that will help you better understand what you'll learn today. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Clara who lived in a small village surrounded by mountains. Clara was known for her skill as a weaver. Her ability to create beautiful tapestries had made her famous in the region, but something strange was happening. Although she was only in her 30s, her appearance reflected someone much older. Her skin was dull, her eyes tired, and her energy seemed to have run out. One day, while she was weaving under a tree, an elderly traveler approached her and, seeing her tired face, asked, "Why does it seem like time has left its marks on you so soon, even though you are still young?" Clara, surprised by the question, told him about her life. She spent long hours working without rest, without eating properly or drinking enough water. She stayed up night after night, worrying about the orders she had to deliver, and relied on caffeine and sugar to stay awake. The old man, with a wise look, replied, "Bad habits are like the constant wind that wears down stones. At first you don't notice it, but over time the erosion becomes deep." Clara listened carefully as the old man explained, "Accumulated tiredness, lack of sleep, malnutrition, and substances that give you momentary energy, all of that accelerates aging. What seems harmless today can become a burden tomorrow." Intrigued, Clara asked, "How can I change this?" The old man smiled and said, "You must take care of your body the way you care for your threads. Give it the rest it needs, nourish it with what truly sustains it, and allow yourself to disconnect. Just as the loom needs pauses to avoid breaking, your body needs them too." From that day on, Clara started making small changes to her routine. She slept more hours, drank water throughout the day, and stopped relying on caffeine. Gradually, her neighbors noticed the change. Her skin regained its glow, her eyes sparkled again, and Clara, with her renewed energy, wove more beautiful tapestries than ever. The lesson Clara learned is clear. Habits that seem insignificant, if we don't pay attention to them, can silently wear us down. Just as a tapestry needs constant care, our bodies also need to be treated with care to stay strong and full of life. The moral of this story is that sometimes what we think are simple customs can wear us down without us realizing it. Taking care of our habits is taking care of our life. Now that you've heard this story, are you ready to change those habits that are aging you faster? Stay with me until the end to discover which ones they are and how to eliminate them from your life. 1. Consuming too much caffeine. Caffeine, that delicious elixir that makes us feel like superheroes in the morning and, for some inexplicable reason, turns us into unbearable creatures by the afternoon. Yes, it's that little wonder that promises to wake up your mind, but often becomes the cause of our jitters and nervous rushes. If you've ever wondered whether caffeine is really your best friend or a cruel antagonist, this text is for you. Here, we'll explore how too much caffeine can transform your life in an unpleasant way, and most importantly, how to avoid falling into that deadly trap. Imagine you're a sports car roaring down the road with coffee as the fuel that drives you. But if you add too much, you might end up crashing into a wall. Just like a car, our energy is finite. The problem with caffeine is that while it gives us a quick momentary boost of energy, it can lead to faster burnout, not just in our body but also in our mind. Caffeine becomes a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives us that push we need to start the day, but on the other, it can make us more vulnerable to stress and anxiety if we overdo it. Caffeine, in moderate doses, is a powerful ally. It has antioxidants and, when consumed in control, can improve concentration, short-term memory, and increase alertness. For instance, a couple of cups a day might be enough to boost productivity and keep us awake when we need it. And not only that, caffeine has been shown to have positive effects on metabolism and can help keep us active throughout the day. However, as with everything in life, the key is balance. Scientific studies suggest that the ideal caffeine intake should not exceed 2 caffeinated drinks a day. For most people, this equals about 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is approximately 2 cups of coffee or 3 cups of green tea. This is more than enough to reap the benefits without the side effects of too much caffeine. But what happens if you choose to ignore these limits? The answer is simple. Excessive caffeine can have negative effects on your body and mind. When we take more than our body needs, our energy spikes, but in an artificial way. Over time, excessive caffeine consumption can lead to a series of adverse effects, such as insomnia, irritability, and anxiety. It's like a car that keeps accelerating without brakes, which will eventually cause an accident. Caffeine acts as a stimulant for the central nervous system. This means it increases the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, which give us that feeling of alertness and energy. However, when we abuse caffeine, we can overload our nervous system. The side effects of excessive caffeine consumption include anxiety, insomnia, digestive issues, and even dependence. The increase in adrenaline and dopamine can make you feel jittery, nervous, and even anxious. Caffeine is known to raise cortisol levels, the stress hormone, which can amplify feelings of nervousness. If you consume caffeine too late in the day, it can affect your ability to sleep. Caffeine can remain in your system for hours, disrupting your sleep cycle and preventing you from enjoying a restful night. Also, too much caffeine can irritate your stomach, causing discomfort and acidity. It can also affect nutrient absorption and alter your digestive system, which could lead to long-term issues if it becomes a daily habit. Although not a classic addiction, excessive caffeine consumption can lead to dependence. You may feel tired, irritable, or lacking energy if you don't consume enough caffeine, which reinforces the cycle of dependence. In the long run, caffeine's effects can be more serious. While it may offer a quick boost in excess, it can affect cardiovascular health, as it can raise blood pressure and increase the risk of heart problems. It's not just an energy problem, but how that energy is artificially generated by an external stimulus that, if not controlled, can lead to much deeper exhaustion. It's true that caffeine has its benefits, but like everything, it should be consumed in moderation. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of moderation and self-discipline. The Stoics believed that true wisdom lies in accepting what we cannot change and acting on what we can. While we may not be able to control daily exhaustion, we can control our relationship with caffeine. Here are a few strategies to help you maintain that balance and enjoy caffeine's benefits without the unwanted side effects. First, set a clear limit. As a general recommendation, don't consume more than 2 cups of coffee a day. Imagine you're a stoic, resisting the temptation of a fleeting pleasure for the sake of your long-term well-being. If you find it hard to stick to this limit, try gradually reducing your intake. The key is to make moderation a consistent practice and be aware of how caffeine affects your body. It's also important to drink your coffee early. If you're a morning coffee fan, that's fine. However, try to avoid caffeine in the afternoon. Coffee in the morning can help you start the day. But in the afternoon, it could interfere with your ability to relax and sleep. If you drink coffee excessively throughout the day, you could be affecting your nightly rest. Caffeine can stay in your system much longer than we think, and it can ruin the quality of your sleep. Another effective strategy is to follow the 6-hour rule. Avoid consuming caffeine at least 6 hours before bedtime. This simple tip can make a big difference in the quality of your rest and your ability to unwind at the end of the day. Sometimes, what you really need isn't more coffee, but a good book, a walk outdoors, or even a bit of meditation. Practicing this can help you regain calm and shake off the anxiety that caffeine may generate. If you find yourself in the caffeine frenzy, consider switching some of your drinks to caffeine-free options. At first, you might feel like something is missing, as if you've abandoned an old friend. But, as the old saying goes, sometimes you have to let go to move forward. Green tea, herbal teas, or even infusions can be an excellent alternative that not only hydrates you, but also offers relaxing benefits. Caffeine can be your ally or your worst enemy, depending on how you choose to play your cards. Learning to consume it in moderation will allow you to enjoy its benefits without suffering from the side effects. As Marcus Aurelius rightly said, true power doesn't lie in what you consume, but in what you decide to leave behind. Taking control of your caffeine consumption is just one more step toward a balanced and healthy life. If you manage to maintain the right balance, caffeine can be a tool to boost your productivity and concentration. If you let yourself go overboard, it can become a burden for your body and mind. Remember that true power lies in your ability to make conscious and balanced decisions. Life is not a race. It's a series of moments we must savor calmly. So, the next time you feel tempted to go on a coffee binge, ask yourself, is it really worth it? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. 2. Daily stress. Have you ever felt like a circus juggler, trying to keep a bunch of balls representing your daily responsibilities up in the air? There are days when everything feels like a whirlwind: work, family commitments, personal tasks. Sometimes stress becomes that unavoidable companion of our modern life, like the scent of coffee in the mornings or phone notifications at 3 in the morning, when you clearly shouldn't be checking your phone. But did you know that this stress, in addition to making us frown, is also causing our skin to wrinkle? Yes, that cortisol your body produces to face daily challenges is not exactly your ally in the fight against aging. Let's talk about stress hormones. Cortisol, epinephrine, and adrenaline are like those friends who are always there in tough times. Useful, but let's be honest, a bit toxic if they stick around too long. These hormones help regulate blood pressure, fight infections, and keep us alert. But when produced in excess due to constant stress, they have harmful effects on our health. The lack of control over these hormone levels can accelerate the aging process, affecting everything from our skin to our internal organs. Specifically, excess cortisol can cause your skin to lose elasticity, making it more vulnerable to wrinkles and sagging. It's as if cortisol is slowly unraveling the fibers of your being, taking vitality away from both your body and mind. When stress becomes a constant companion, the body is in a state of alert, meaning it can't relax or regenerate as it should. And no, it's not that challenges are bad. It's that constant exposure to stress can leave us in a chronic state of exhaustion, making us more vulnerable to premature aging. But stress isn't just about those extreme moments of tension, like a big presentation or a project with a deadline. There are daily habits that, without us realizing, are working against us, like that friend who's always late and makes you waste time, yet never seems to suffer the consequences. It can be tempting to reach for chocolate ice cream every time you face a problem. Or maybe you skip exercise because, well, the couch is so cozy after a long day. These are examples of bad habits that, while momentarily comforting, are actually feeding the cycle of stress and aging. So what's the solution? The answer is closer than you think: meditation. Yes, that practice we often associate with Tibetan monks in remote temples or with people who seem to have all the time in the world. But did you know that meditation and mindfulness are disciplines you can integrate into your daily routine without breaking the bank? You don't need a monastery or a special robe to start. Just a few minutes a day and a quiet place. Imagine sitting in a corner of your home like a little oasis amid the daily chaos. With every inhale, you absorb calm. With every exhale, you release stress. This simple exercise not only helps reduce cortisol levels in your body, but it also gives you perspective on your problems. Sometimes, a breath is all we need to take a step back and see things clearly. Think about those moments when stress makes you feel like you can't handle it all. Meditation helps you organize your thoughts, putting into perspective what truly matters and what are just temporary distractions. And here's a thought: meditation doesn't have to be complicated or mystical. You can start with something as simple as focusing on your breath for a few minutes a day. Breathe deeply, feel the air enter and exit, and suddenly your mind calms down. It may sound simple, but that inner calm you achieve by breathing deeply is a natural antidote to stress. Best of all, over time, you'll notice how the effects of meditation don't just stay within those peaceful minutes. You'll begin to respond more calmly to the stressful situations of daily life. Stoic wisdom also has a lot to say about this. Stoics teach us that we can't control everything that happens in life, but we can control how we respond to those circumstances. Stress, in fact, is just our body's response to challenges. But as Epictetus said, it's not events that disturb us, but our opinions about them. When we learn to accept that life will bring challenges and that not everything is under our control, we start to free ourselves from that constant state of alert. Adopting a Stoic attitude is learning to view stress from a healthier perspective, as something that happens but doesn't define who we are. Stress can be a formidable enemy, but it doesn't have to win the battle. If you adopt practices like meditation, you'll start to see results that go far beyond stress reduction. You'll be amazed at how your body and mind respond to these changes. Stress not only affects your emotional well-being, but it also impacts your body in a way that over time will make you feel the effects of aging faster. Meditation is a powerful tool to combat this cycle. Remember, life is like a game of chess. Sometimes the best thing you can do is stop, breathe, and think about your next move. It's not about rushing or reacting impulsively, but about knowing when to step back and regain control. The next time you feel like stress is winning, take a deep breath and remember what Epictetus said: "Calm is the refuge of the wise." Don't let stress consume you. Take a breath, face challenges with serenity, and most importantly, allow yourself to not be perfect all the time. Your mind and body will thank you. 3. Smoking. Have you ever thought about what tobacco really does to your skin? Maybe you see it as a small pleasure, a pause in the hustle of the day, or a way to relax. But let me be the voice of reason, or rather, the voice of smoke. Smoking is not just a habit that stains your teeth and leaves a peculiar smell on your breath. It's also a sly thief that steals the youth from your skin. Yes, that cigarette might seem harmless when you hold it between your fingers, but believe me, tobacco is the enemy you don't even know you have until it's too late. Imagine, for a moment, that smoking is like inviting a group of Stoics to your birthday party. Sounds weird, right? But the truth is, these ancient philosophers championed the importance of living in harmony with reason and nature. And if you think about it, inhaling smoke has absolutely nothing to do with nature. The Stoics, guardians of your well-being, would probably view the cigarette as an inconsistency, as if you were deliberately damaging your body. There's no reason or nature in that. Tobacco reduces the amount of oxygen and nutrients your skin needs to stay radiant. Every time you inhale, that smoke disrupts the flow of oxygen and nutrients that your skin needs to regenerate and stay fresh. It's like turning off the lights in your own home, leaving your skin in premature darkness. Not only that, but tobacco activates some mischievous enzymes that compromise the elasticity of your face. Skin that's youthful and full of vitality begins to lose that elasticity. It's as if your skin is screaming, "Help! Where's my collagen?" But that cry is drowned out by the smoke you consume. And that's not all. The toxins in cigarette smoke interfere with cellular oxygenation. Imagine your skin struggling to breathe, but with a plastic bag over its head. That's what happens when you smoke. Cells can't regenerate properly, which results in dull, lackluster skin, and over time, premature aging. Every puff of smoke becomes a stealthy thief that enters your life and steals your youth, leaving you with visible signs of aging much sooner than you'd like. Over the years, this habit accumulates like a debt to time. Think about the fine lines and wrinkles that begin to appear around your eyes, mouth, or neck. Those marks, which should be signs of lived experiences, start taking on a premature shape when tobacco is the star of your life. And the worst part is, it's not just what you see in the mirror, but what you don't see. The cells struggling to stay alive and healthy beneath the surface. Did you know? Smoking decreases the amount of vitamin C in your skin, which also affects collagen production, a key protein that keeps skin firm and elastic. Now you might be wondering, how can this be fixed? Of course, the first thing that might come to mind is a radical lifestyle change, quitting smoking. And while that is undoubtedly the best decision you could make for your health and appearance, there are also other strategies you can adopt to take care of your skin, even while working on kicking the habit. The first step, if you want to fight the effects of tobacco on your skin, is to think about the power of hydration. Hydration is essential. Imagine your skin as a plant. If you don't water it, it will wither. And just like a plant needs water to survive, your skin needs nourishment to stay fresh and healthy. It's not enough to just drink water. You can also include water-rich and antioxidant-packed foods, like fresh fruits and vegetables, which help protect the skin from the damage caused by toxins. Eating foods rich in vitamins A, C, and E can give your skin a shield against external aggressions, and above all, the internal ones that tobacco causes. In addition, maintaining a skincare routine is crucial. You might want to consider using moisturizers, vitamin C serums, and products rich in antioxidants that help repair damage and restore lost elasticity. Remember, skin ages faster when it doesn't receive the nutrients it needs to regenerate, so taking a step toward a skincare regimen is investing in your future. Physical exercise also plays a key role in skin regeneration. When you exercise, you improve blood circulation, which means more oxygen and nutrients reach your cells. Plus, exercise helps release tension, which can be especially helpful if stress is one of the reasons you turn to tobacco in the first place. By staying active, you're not only caring for your body, but also for your skin, helping it look more vibrant and healthy. And of course, don't forget the mind. If stress is a trigger for smoking, you should learn to manage it in a healthier way. Meditation, mindfulness, or even taking a few minutes each day to disconnect can work wonders for your emotional well-being, which indirectly affects your physical health, including the health of your skin. In the end, the choice is yours. You can continue living in the illusion that smoking doesn't affect your appearance, or you can take control of your life and start taking care of your skin. Like the Stoics, who believed strongly in self-discipline and reason, you too can be the architect of your own destiny. It's not just about an aesthetic change, but a change in mindset. Life is full of fleeting pleasures, but as Brian Tracy wisely says, youth is a gift of nature, but aging is a masterpiece of life. So, are you ready to leave the smoke behind and choose a path that highlights your true beauty? Remember, while cigarettes may seem to offer you a brief moment of satisfaction, what they really steal is something much more valuable: your youth. 4. Sleeping less than 8 hours. Have you ever wondered why coffee seems to be the only universally accepted value in the working world? It's almost like it's the secret fuel to get through an endless day. If you're like most people, you probably think that sleeping less than 8 hours is synonymous with productivity, being an unstoppable worker, being ambitious. Ah, the glorious culture of insomnia. But here's the bombshell. That lack of sleep isn't just harming your health, it's also aging you faster than a banana left forgotten on the counter. Sound familiar? Let's break it down. During the night, your body enters repair mode. It's like having a little team of builders working at full speed to rebuild and improve the version of yourself. While you sleep, tissues repair, cells are revitalized, and if you've had a tough day, that wonderful team is there to fix the damage. It's like giving your body time to recharge its batteries, to restore itself. But what happens if you decide to cut that workday short for your little builders? What if, instead of sleeping the recommended 8 hours, you only sleep 5 or 6? You wake up with the feeling that the work they needed to do is unfinished. And when you wake up, you find a couple of new wrinkles, eye bags so big they could house a small cat, and sagging that could rival an old deflated balloon. The reality is that sleeping less than 8 hours intensifies these problems. Lack of sleep negatively affects circulation, which means your body can't properly do its job of repairing and revitalizing you. Imagine you're throwing a party, but you only have a small space in your house. The result is chaos, discomfort, and unease, right? Well, the same happens when you don't sleep enough. There's not enough space for your body to do its job properly, and the result is that you don't feel refreshed, but exhausted, with your skin, hair, and energy starting to suffer. So how did we get to this point? Beyond your toxic relationship with the alarm clock, there are habits that sneak into your life like a cat in a cardboard box. Maybe you're familiar with the situation of binge-watching a series until the sun starts to rise, or checking your phone every minute because, of course, the latest meme is way more important than your health. And of course, let's not forget caffeine consumption, as if there's no tomorrow. All these behaviors form a delicious recipe that could be titled "How to Become a Premature Zombie," as if the idea of being a non-stop working machine were a worthy aspiration. But the truth is that work until you drop lifestyle only speeds up your aging, inside and out. So what to do to combat this journey toward premature old age? First, establish a routine. Your body loves regularity. Imagine you wake up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time, and so your body begins to understand it's in a predictable cycle. This isn't a math test, it's just giving yourself a break. Sleeping well is an act of self-care, not a luxury. If you can maintain a routine, your body will adapt better, and your nights of rest will be much more restorative. Also, create a sleep-friendly environment. Darkness is your best friend. If you're one of those people who leaves the lights on or the curtains open, it's time for a change. Close those curtains and turn off the lights. If you need to, use earplugs, an eye mask, or anything that helps you maintain a calm environment. Your bedroom shouldn't look like a movie theater or a battlefield. It should be a sanctuary of peace, where your body can relax and enter the repair mode it needs. Stoic philosophy teaches us to find calm amidst the storm, so apply this wisdom to your nights, and you'll see how your rest improves dramatically. Don't forget to disconnect from screens. We know the temptation to check social media is strong, but that bright screen will keep you from sleeping well. Studies have shown that the blue light emitted by devices interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. Try putting your phone away at least an hour before bed. I promise the world will survive without your updates for one night. And if you struggle to disconnect, try a relaxing technique, like reading a good book or practicing meditation. Not only will that help you unplug, but it will also prepare your mind for restorative rest. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, relax. If you're used to going to bed stressed out or worried about work, the future, or social media, what you'll get is tossing and turning in bed without being able to sleep. But if you allow yourself to disconnect from all of that and relax your mind, it will be much easier to fall asleep. And your body will thank you for it, as it will be able to repair and rejuvenate while you rest. Next time you feel proud of those sleepless nights, remember that your body is filing a formal complaint. The fact that you're speeding up your aging process is not a sacrifice for the sake of your productivity. On the contrary, you're sabotaging your long-term well-being. Taking care of yourself, your health, and your energy is more important than any project or urgent meeting. And if all else fails, here's a golden tip. Wisdom isn't measured in hours of work, but in hours of restorative sleep. Give your body the rest it deserves, and you'll see how it thanks you. After all, life isn't a race of endurance. It's a journey where, to go far, you need to be in your best shape, physically and mentally. 5. Not smiling enough. Have you ever noticed that there are days when your smile seems to have gone on a long vacation, leaving your face completely flat and dull? That lack of joy is not just a coincidence. If you think aging is inevitable, something you can't do anything about, let me tell you that you're forgetting one very important factor. Your attitude, your mood, and yes, the way you smile, all have a direct impact on how you look and feel. In fact, that small action we often underestimate, smiling, could be one of the best-kept secrets of longevity. Sounds silly, right? A smile? But trust me, it's not. A smile doesn't just have the power to instantly improve your mood, it directly influences your physical health. And I'm not just saying this because it's a nice quote from self-help books. Science backs up what the Stoics already knew thousands of years ago. The ancient philosophers, who lived in much harder times than we do, understood the importance of cultivating a calm and serene mind. They knew that life isn't always fair, that difficulties are inevitable, but they also understood that our response to those challenges is what truly defines our quality of life. The Stoics taught us not to get dragged down by negative emotions. It's easy to fall into the trap of taking everything too seriously, especially when responsibilities, stress, and the pressures of daily life are constantly pushing us down. But instead of getting caught in that spiral of negativity, the Stoics invite us to be like a boat navigating the turbulent river of life. Instead of fighting against the currents, we learn to use them to our advantage. And that's where laughter comes in, the engine that allows us to move forward with lightness. When we laugh, we activate a series of chemical reactions in our bodies that improve circulation, reduce stress, and boost levels of endorphins, the famous happiness hormones. Not only will you feel more relaxed, but you will also actually be improving the function of your blood vessels. And the best part? All of this without the need for expensive anti-aging creams or medical procedures. All you need is a smile. Despite all these benefits, we often fall into what I call the serious cycle. That moment when everything feels like a giant roller coaster of problems, where each inconvenience seems bigger than the last. We forget the importance of laughing at ourselves, at the absurd situations life throws our way. Instead of seeing tough moments as tragedies, we can choose to see them as comedies unfolding, with ourselves as the main characters. This shift in perspective won't just ease your emotional burden, but will also help you stay youthful and vibrant for longer. So how can we start incorporating more laughter into our lives? First, surrounding yourself with people who enjoy the moment and find joy in the simplest things can be a good first step. Look for that person who always has a funny story to tell or can find the positive side of a difficult situation. Those people are like magnets for happiness and laughter. And if you don't have anyone nearby, there are other ways to activate good humor. How about a comedy movie night or a board game with friends? If you prefer, you can even start looking for and listening to comedies online. The important thing is to surround yourself with moments that invite you to laugh without worries. Another powerful tool is what might sound a bit strange at first, but I promise it works: the laughter journal. Yes, it sounds a little odd, but hear me out. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that made you smile or laugh during the day. It could be something as simple as a silly joke or an absurd situation you experienced. You'll be surprised at how many small moments of happiness you overlook in your daily routine. This exercise won't just help shift your focus to the positive, but it will also train your brain to look for more reasons to smile. Over time, laughter will become a more natural and frequent habit. In addition, meditation also plays an important role in this process. Just as the Stoics taught us to observe our thoughts without judgment, the practice of meditation can help clear the grey clouds that darken our minds. Sometimes it's simply about stopping, breathing, and seeing the world with new eyes. If you combine this with a lighter attitude, you'll notice how your perspective on life transforms, and with it, your physical and emotional well-being. In summary, smiling more isn't just trivial advice. It's a powerful strategy to improve your health, reduce stress, and maintain both physical and mental youthfulness. The next time you feel stress creeping in, or find yourself trapped in the cycle of seriousness, remember that laughter is a tool at your disposal, always free and with no side effects. Life can be tough sometimes, yes, but if you take a moment to smile and see the lighter side of things, you'll not only be enduring adversity, but also defeating aging itself. So next time you see someone smiling, think of it as a small act of rebellion against the gravity of the world. And if no one else is doing it, why not be the first to do so? Laughter, after all, is the prescription-free medicine your body needs. Let's get laughing. 6. Not getting enough exercise every day. The couch, that cozy spot where you spend hours watching shows, browsing the internet, or at best, mentally planning your ideal life while munching on a bag of chips. Sedentary living, that silent thief of youth that whispers in your ear, just a little longer won't hurt. But let's be honest with ourselves, yes, it does hurt, and what seems like a small break can quickly turn into a routine that steals more than just your time. Let's talk about how those 45 minutes of daily exercise can be your ticket back to youth, or at least to a healthier version of yourself. Your body is like a classic car, the kind everyone admires at antique fairs. If you leave it parked for too long, the paint starts to chip, the engine rusts, and before you know it, you'll have to spend a fortune on repairs. The same thing happens with your muscles, bones, and joints. If you don't move them, you'll start to notice that time is passing faster than you'd like. Sedentarism accelerates premature aging, and before you realize it, you'll be closer to being a grandparent than to your best self. And it's not just an aesthetic or superficial matter. Experts suggest that dedicating at least 45 minutes a day to physical activity is the key to combating the effects of a sedentary lifestyle. And before you start thinking about running a marathon, here's the good news. You don't have to be a gym fanatic to meet this recommendation. The key is to find something you actually enjoy. It could be weightlifting, yes, like those muscular guys straight out of an action movie, dancing in your living room, or going for a walk while listening to your favorite podcast. Everything counts, and everything adds up. If you're wondering why exercise is so important, the answer is simple. Your body, like that classic car, needs movement to stay in good working condition. It's not just about aesthetics or toned muscles, it's about long-term health. Regular exercise improves circulation, strengthens the heart, reduces the risk of chronic diseases, and helps maintain an active metabolism. Did you know that your heart, the engine of your body, works much more efficiently when you take proper care of it? If you don't, it might leave you stranded on the road sooner than you think. Physical activity is the best way to make sure your engine keeps running properly. Weightlifting, for example, is one of the most effective methods to fight aging. And no, you don't need to become the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. With a pair of dumbbells or some body resistance, you can start noticing significant changes. The important thing is to challenge your body, not torture it. Deep down, exercise doesn't have to feel like a burden. Think of it as a small act of love towards yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches us that control and discipline are essential for a full life. So, why not apply these principles to your daily exercise routine? Exercise is not only beneficial for the body, but also for the mind. When we engage in physical activity, we release endorphins, the happiness hormones, which improve our mood, reduce stress, and boost our sense of well-being. After a good workout, the sense of accomplishment and well-being can be so rewarding that you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. However, the greatest benefit is the impact exercise has on your long-term health. By staying active, you reduce the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and other chronic conditions associated with a sedentary lifestyle. It's true that starting an exercise routine can seem difficult, especially when you've grown accustomed to the comfort of the couch. But it's like any habit. Start with small steps. Begin with activities you enjoy, even if it's only for 15 or 20 minutes a day. Over time, those 15 minutes will turn into 45, and those 45 minutes will become as natural as breathing. The goal isn't to suffer through that half hour, but to enjoy it. Find an exercise you really like and get motivated to keep going. If you find yourself enjoying physical activity, those 45 minutes will turn into a happy oasis in your day. If you're still not convinced, think about the cost of not taking action. A sedentary lifestyle doesn't just shorten your life expectancy, it also increases the likelihood of suffering from cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and even mental health issues. Physical inactivity is linked to a higher risk of depression, anxiety, and other emotional disorders. And let's not forget what happens to your muscles and bones. If you don't use them, they start to deteriorate. Your joints, which once were flexible and agile, will begin to feel stiff and sore. Over time, you'll realize your body doesn't have the same elasticity it once did, and the small discomforts will turn into big problems. Regular exercise is more than just a matter of appearance. It's an investment in your future health. By dedicating those 45 minutes a day to movement, you're investing in a stronger heart, more resilient bones, and a calmer mind. It's not just about avoiding aging, but keeping your body in the best shape possible for as long as possible. So the next time you think about that extra hour of TV shows, remember that your body needs that love in the form of movement. Less than 45 minutes a day doesn't sound so scary, does it? Think of it as an act of love toward yourself, a way to thank your body for everything it does for you. Get up, stretch those legs, and give your body the exercise it deserves. In the end, being sedentary is a surefire way to reach old age without fully living. Remember this, taking care of your body is the first step toward living a fulfilling life. If you don't, someone else will, but not in the way you'd like. The way you treat your body today is the foundation of who you'll be tomorrow. So don't wait any longer. Go out, move, and start feeling the benefits of physical exercise, because life is waiting for you, and it needs you at your best. 7. Not drinking enough water. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? If the answer is no, let me tell you, you're missing out on a scene straight out of a horror movie. And if the answer is yes, you may have noticed that your skin isn't exactly the fresh, radiant canvas it used to be. The reason? Yes, you guessed it, a lack of water. But don't worry, I'm not saying you're going to die from not drinking a couple of liters a day. However, it's definitely worth talking a little more about this because water is much more than just a cure for thirst. Most of us know that water is essential. We learn it from a young age, in TV commercials, in expert advice. But still, many of us don't give it the importance it deserves. In our modern life, it often feels like we don't even have time to fill up a glass. Work, social media, that series you can't stop watching. Everything seems more urgent than giving your body what it really needs. But deep down, it's about more than just quenching your thirst. Imagine your skin like a plant. If you water it enough, it blossoms. If you leave it dry, it wilts. It's that simple. When you don't drink enough water, you're not just damaging your skin, which becomes rough, dull, and less flexible, but you're also allowing toxins to build up in your body. Think of it as if you were a human trash can, where the impurities get trapped because water isn't flowing like it should. What about toxins? Well, those little unwanted substances in the air, in food and in drinks we consume need to be eliminated. But if you're not drinking enough, your body can't get rid of them. They stay there, doing their dirty work. Experts say the recommended water intake is clear. Men should drink about 2.5 liters a day, which is about 11 cups. Yes, like you're in a tea drinking competition. Women, on the other hand, need about 2 liters or 8 cups because, of course, balance is key. But let's be honest, how many of us actually hit those numbers? In most cases, we don't even reach half of that amount. Life gets in the way, and before we know it, we're letting our bodies become dehydrated like a desert in the middle of summer. So how do we fix this little big problem? You'll be surprised to know it's simpler than it seems. First, make hydration a consistent habit. Always carry a water bottle with you. Think of it as your best friend, the one that's always there to remind you to hydrate. Every time you look at that bottle, it's like it's saying, "Hey, don't forget about me." A little reminder can make a big difference. Also, associate water with specific moments of your day. For example, drink a glass of water every time you sit down to work, or after completing each task. That way, hydration becomes part of your daily routine, not just something you do when you feel thirsty. Make it automatic. If plain water seems boring to you, here's a trick. Add some lemon slices, cucumber, or even some fresh herbs. That way, what was once a tasteless liquid becomes a cocktail worthy of a luxury bar, even if it's in your own kitchen. And as for the quantity, if you struggle to reach 2 liters, don't worry, you can gradually increase it. In fact, if you drink water regularly, your body will probably start asking for more. Now, while all this may seem like simple health advice, there's something deeper we can learn here, something that connects with Stoic philosophy. And yes, I know this might sound strange when talking about water, but stay with me. Stoics, like Epictetus and Seneca, teach us to accept what we cannot change and act on what we can. If you can't change the tired lines on your face or your dull skin overnight, at least you can decide to drink more water. It's a small step, but an important one towards self-care. Sometimes, the answer to our health or well-being problems is something as simple and accessible as a glass of water. So, in conclusion, neglecting hydration might seem like a harmless bad habit, but in reality, it's a direct path to premature aging. If you care about your skin, and if you truly care about your overall health, drinking the right amount of water should be your #1 priority. Remember, your body is your temple, and like any good temple, it needs regular maintenance. A temple that becomes dehydrated is a temple that starts to crack. And finally, I want to leave you with a thought that might resonate with you if you haven't yet realized how important water is in your life. Life is like water. If you don't take care of it, it will evaporate before you even know it. So what are you waiting for? Drink water and start taking care of yourself today. 8. Overindulging in sugar. Have you ever stopped to think about what a sweet pleasure really means? Because let's be honest, sugar can seem like our taste bud's best friend. That instant rush of happiness when you take a bite of cake or your favorite candy is something we all know well. But what we often fail to see is that, in the long run, sugar becomes that unwanted guest who stays longer than necessary, ruining not only your health, but also your well-being and appearance. At first, everything seems harmless, a little treat here and there, a bit of sugar in your coffee or dessert, nothing major. But when that small indulgence becomes a habit, the consequences start to add up. And sugar, that white powder we all love, has earned a bad reputation in the health world, and not without reason. Over the years, it's been proven that excessive sugar can harm your health in many ways, from the look of your skin to how your heart functions. First, let's talk about your skin. If you've ever noticed those breakouts or blemishes appearing more often after a sugar binge, it's not just a coincidence. Overindulging in sugar can cause inflammation in your body, which leads to a higher risk of acne and other skin issues. But the impact doesn't stop there. Through a process called glycation, sugar attaches to the collagen and elastin proteins in your skin, affecting its elasticity and firmness. The result? Looser skin, premature wrinkles, and accelerated aging. So, yes, that donut you devoured while watching your favorite show might have left a deeper mark than you realize. Beyond affecting your skin's appearance, sugar has far more serious effects on your body. It's one of the main culprits of cardiovascular disease, and not only that, it can also raise cholesterol levels. If you thought cholesterol was just a term doctors use to scare you, think again. Overindulging in sugar can compromise your heart, that vital organ pumping blood throughout your body. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure are just a few of the consequences you might face if you don't moderate your sugar intake. In fact, sugar isn't just an enemy to your skin, it's also an enemy to your heart. Now, I'm not here to make you feel guilty about every slice of cake you've eaten in the past few years. We all deserve to enjoy a sweet treat now and then. The issue isn't occasional indulgence. It's what happens when that indulgence becomes a habit, how sugar sneaks into your diet without you even noticing, camouflaged in products you'd never expect, like sauces, sodas, cereals, and even some seemingly healthy foods. Sugar hides behind names like sucrose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, and others. It's like a food ninja, always waiting for the perfect moment to sneak up on you when you least expect it. So what can you do to avoid falling into the sugar trap? First, it's essential to become a food detective. Read the labels on the products you consume and learn to spot where sugar is hiding. Often, foods that seem healthy, like breakfast cereals or ready-made sauces, contain more sugar than you might think. Ditch those products that offer nothing but an overload of sweetness and choose healthier alternatives instead. Also, you can swap refined sugar for natural options like stevia or coconut sugar. It's not about eliminating sweetness from your life entirely, but switching to these alternatives can significantly reduce the negative impact sugar has on your body. And if you're used to adding sugar to your coffee or tea, try cutting back little by little. It might be hard at first, but soon you'll get used to it and notice a difference in how you feel and how your skin responds. The next step is applying moderation. As Stoic philosophy teaches us, everything in life should be balanced. Sugar can be a pleasure, but it's important to recognize when it's just a treat and when it's turning into an addiction. Moderation is the key to enjoying life's pleasures without falling into the excesses that will eventually take their toll. It's not about depriving yourself of everything you like, but about enjoying it with awareness and wisdom. Think about what you truly need versus what's simply a fleeting indulgence. That way, you can make more informed decisions that benefit both your health and your well-being in the long run. The next time you feel the urge to devour a dessert or sip a sugary drink, remember that your skin, your health, and your future are watching you. Every bite you take is a decision that has a direct impact on your body, and those decisions accumulate over time. Don't let sugar age you faster than you should. Finally, remember that life is too short for sugar to be responsible for your premature aging. Choose the path of wisdom, moderation, and health. Every bite is an opportunity to take care of yourself, to nourish your body and mind more consciously. At the end of the day, it's not about cutting sugar out completely, but learning how to enjoy life's little pleasures without letting them become obstacles to your well-being. With moderation, sugar can remain a pleasure, but without turning into an enemy that steals years from your life. 9. Following drastic diets. Have you noticed that today, in the age of instant gratification, everyone seems obsessed with losing weight as quickly as possible? It's almost like people are competing to follow the most extreme diet, the one that promises magical results in the blink of an eye. Diets that feel more like an obstacle course than a self-care process. Intermittent fasting, juice-only diets, magic proteins, miracle supplements. All promising instant transformation, as if your body were a machine you can reset at will. But what really happens when you dive into these extremes? It's time to pause and think about what it truly means to take care of yourself. Do we really believe we can take shortcuts when it comes to something as vital as our health? The ancient Stoics taught us the importance of moderation and self-care, two fundamental principles that seem to be forgotten when we're chasing quick results. They understood that balance and discipline are the keys to a fulfilling life. And in this context, that's the mindset we should apply to our eating habits. Let's put into perspective what happens when you decide to follow an extremely restrictive diet. It might seem tempting when you see those before and after results on social media, but what's really happening is something your body won't thank you for in the long run. By depriving it of essential nutrients or subjecting it to drastic restrictions, your metabolism goes into shock. And no, it's not the kind of shock you experience when you see your transformation photo. It's a much quieter but more devastating kind. The loss of elasticity in your skin. Your skin, that protective layer covering you, is one of the first places where the damage shows when you subject yourself to drastic diet changes. Rapid weight loss can cause your skin to sag, like a balloon that after being inflated deflates and leaves wrinkles and marks. Remember those balloons that, when you release the air, wrinkle and lose their shape. That's exactly what happens to your skin. It doesn't adapt as quickly as your body, and when you don't give it the time it needs to adjust to changes, you'll face the consequences. The dilemma is clear. On one hand, you want to look amazing for that important event or meeting, but you don't want those extreme efforts to leave you feeling like you've undergone unnecessary wear and tear. So, what to do? The solution lies in moderation, and as always, the Stoics had the answer. Instead of succumbing to extreme diets, we can choose a more balanced approach, one that respects both our goals and our long-term needs. Imagine, instead of cutting out an entire food group, adopting a mindful eating approach where you truly listen to your body. This doesn't mean you have to give up pleasures, but it's about finding balance. You can enjoy a piece of chocolate, but also a fresh salad packed with essential nutrients. It's about listening to what your body needs and giving it what it truly deserves without falling into extremes. A helpful exercise is keeping a food diary where you not only track what you eat, but also how you feel after each meal. You might discover that certain foods affect your energy or mood, which is valuable in making more informed choices. Over time, you'll become more aware of what your body really needs, and you'll stop falling for fad diets that promise miracles but only lead to a cycle of frustration. The next time you feel the pressure to lose weight quickly, remember that your body is not a machine you can easily reset. It's a temple that deserves to be treated with love and respect, and the key to lasting well-being lies in patience and self-care. Moderation, as the Stoics would say, is the path to a balanced and healthy life. In summary, extreme diets may offer temporary results, but at the cost of wear and tear your body doesn't deserve. True well-being is not built on shortcuts or fad diets, but on a balanced approach that respects your body's real needs. Don't deceive yourself into thinking that a number on the scale is all that matters. What truly matters is how you feel, how you take care of yourself, and how you cultivate a healthy relationship with your body. So, the next time you feel tempted by an extreme diet, remember that true well-being lies in moderation, and that a healthy life is built step by step with patience and wisdom. 10. Not using sunscreen daily. Have you ever noticed that most people only remember to apply sunscreen when they're going to the beach, or when they know they'll turn as red as a lobster after a day in the sun? In those moments, skin protection is as urgent as the need to prevent sunburns. But what about those days when you're just walking around the city, enjoying a coffee or a stroll under the afternoon sun? Those ultraviolet rays don't take vacations. Like a secret agent, the sun continues its course, infiltrating your skin even when you don't realize it. So, instead of waiting for your skin to show the consequences, why not take the initiative and start using sunscreen every day? It seems simple, but the reality is that many people underestimate the power of sunscreen. They treat it like a seasonal product, reserved only for vacation time. However, applying sunscreen every day is one of the smartest and most effective ways to care for your skin. It's like a life insurance policy with no monthly payments or paperwork, just a small daily gesture that can prevent decades of damage. In this sense, the Stoics have something to teach us. They believed that wisdom was not just about accepting what we cannot change, but knowing when to take action when we have the power to do so. While we can't stop the passage of time or avoid the sun, we can protect our skin from its effects. Constant sun exposure, even on cloudy or cold days, can wreak havoc on your skin over time. The sun emits ultraviolet UV radiation that can damage skin cells, speeding up aging and increasing the risk of skin cancer. In fact, 80% of sun damage occurs before the age of 18, but the effects aren't immediately noticeable. The appearance of wrinkles, spots, and loss of elasticity is gradual, and the reason some people seem to have younger skin than others isn't by chance, but rather the result of daily decisions, such as applying sunscreen. It's like being told to carry an umbrella on a cloudy day, not because it's raining now, but because if it does rain, you'll be prepared. Sunscreen is that umbrella. The ancient Stoics, like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, spoke of the importance of daily discipline, of building a virtuous life through consistent, wise habits. They didn't expect life to be easy, but they knew that making wise decisions every day would help them face adversity much more effectively. In this sense, using sunscreen daily can be seen as a virtuous action, an investment not only in your appearance, but also in your long-term health. It's easy to forget such a simple step, but making it part of your daily routine is crucial. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It might seem like a small gesture, but it's something you do every morning to maintain your dental health, right? Sunscreen should fall into that same category as automatic a habit as washing your face or getting dressed. At first, it may be hard to integrate it, but after a few weeks, it becomes second nature. And don't forget that sunscreen isn't only for when you leave the house. You should apply it indoors too, if you're near windows that let in natural light. UV rays can penetrate glass and damage your skin, so there's no excuse to skip this step. If you think indoor light isn't strong enough to harm you, think again. Those rays are stealthy, and the accumulated damage over time is much greater than you might imagine. Once you start using sunscreen every day, remember that it's not just about applying it in the morning and forgetting about it. Sunscreens have limited effectiveness. If you're outside for more than 2 hours or sweating a lot, the protection begins to fade. It's not just about applying it once and forgetting about it. It's important to reapply every 2 hours, especially if you're exercising or sweating. Sunscreen isn't a magic cream that lasts all day without touch-ups. Think of it as a layer of armor that you need to reinforce from time to stay protected. And while some sunscreens might be sticky or uncomfortable, don't let that discourage you. Today, there are lightweight and pleasant options that suit different skin types. Some even have a hint of color or formulas that don't leave greasy residues. Find the one you like best, because if you enjoy using the product, you're more likely to use it consistently. Taking care of our skin is not just a personal matter, it can also be an act of generosity toward others. Just as we share health and wellness tips, talking about the importance of sunscreen can make a big difference. Often people don't realize what they're missing until someone explains the consequences of not protecting their skin regularly. Instead of waiting for someone to figure it out for themselves, why not be the one to share that information and help others avoid premature wrinkles and spots? You could save more than one person from a future full of regrets. In life, there are decisions we make daily that, though they seem small, have a significant impact on our future. Using sunscreen is one of those decisions. It's not just about appearance, it's about the health of our skin, protecting it from premature aging and preventing serious diseases. As Marcus Aurelius said, life is not waiting for the storm to pass. It's learning to dance in the rain. And in this case, the rain is those ever-present UV rays. Learn to protect yourself, make prevention a part of your daily routine, and your skin will thank you in the long run. Your skin is your first outfit, and like any valuable garment, it deserves care. So, how about starting to protect your skin every day, not just when you go to the beach, but as an act of self-love for the future that's yet to come? Your skin will thank you, and the best part is that, just as the Stoics taught, the discipline of caring for yourself is never a vain act, but a constant investment in well-being and longevity. 11. Not attending your medical checkups. Have you ever felt that sense of freedom when you decide to skip a medical checkup? The idea that by not going to the appointment, you're freeing yourself from the system, from those papers full of terms that sound like another language, and from that nurse with the fixed smile, as if she were in a kindness contest. Has this happened to you? It's as if, by not showing up, you're defying the rules and saying, I don't need this, I'm fine. But here's the question. What if I told you that this feeling of freedom is actually a cage? A golden cage, of course, but a cage nonetheless. The truth is, medical checkups aren't just another nuisance in the never-ending to-do list. They are, in many cases, one of the smartest and most preventative decisions you can make for your health. Those doctor visits that you keep postponing are actually a kind of lifeline, a safety net that helps you maintain your well-being in the long term. Recent studies indicate that these checkups can detect conditions in up to 90% of people. Yes, 90%. If this isn't enough to convince you that an annual or biennial checkup is a valuable investment, maybe you should reconsider how you make decisions in general. So, how often should you go to the doctor? The answer isn't complicated, and if you're the kind of person who takes the time to read a restaurant menu, you'll understand this concept perfectly. The general recommendation is as follows. Up until the age of 40, a checkup every 4 years is more than enough. Between 40 and 60, things get more serious, so it's recommended every 2 years. And from 60 onward, you're expected to be a frequent visitor to the doctor's waiting room with annual checkups. Simple, like the steps in a basic recipe. What makes this scenario even more interesting is that many health insurers offer free or very affordable checkups. So, if you're thinking about getting health insurance or already have it, review the clauses of your contract to make sure these types of checkups are included. It's a gift for your health that not only costs little, but could save you a lot of problems in the long run. We live in such a fast-paced world that days seem to fly by. Amid this rush, a small effort for your health, like attending a checkup, could be the best investment you make in yourself. The invisible enemy, bad habits, that age you faster than a banana in the open air. Let's talk for a moment about bad habits. Those that, while seemingly harmless at the time, actually have cumulative effects that speed up the aging process. Modern life is full of distractions. Fast food, chronic stress, sleepless nights while wondering if you really need to watch that episode of your favorite show on Netflix. Every time you decide to skip a medical checkup, in a way, you're feeding that monster called negligence. That little demon whispering in your ear, "It's fine, I don't need it today." However, many of these insidious habits go unnoticed until it's too late. Smoking a cigarette during a work break, skipping breakfast, staying up late because you'll sleep tomorrow. Sound familiar? And suddenly, one day, bam, you find yourself Googling your symptoms, convinced that you have something serious. And spoiler alert, that search rarely ends well. The worst part is that when you find yourself at that point, what you really need isn't a Google search, but a consultation with a professional who can properly diagnose any problems you might be overlooking. Small changes, big benefits. Even though you might feel that your habits aren't that harmful, the truth is that time passes faster than we think. The key is to make small adjustments before the consequences pile up. But don't worry, not all is lost. You can always turn things around with simple daily practices like a 30-minute walk, a healthy breakfast, or even spending 5 minutes meditating every morning. These small changes will not only improve your physical well-being, but also keep you more alert to the signals your body is sending you. Simply doing these activities, though they may sound trivial, reinforces your overall health and reduces the risk of diseases. Plus, when it's time for your checkup, you'll go in with confidence, not guilt. It's like preparing for an important interview. Being ready for whatever comes your way gives you a sense of control and allows you to make decisions based on accurate information, not assumptions. By integrating these habits, your medical visits become a natural extension of your self-care. It's not just about going to the doctor to get checked. It's about going with the peace of mind that you're already doing your part to stay healthy. Life doesn't stop, and neither should you. Ignoring your medical checkups is like wishing the clouds would disappear just because you don't like getting wet. In the end, the storm always comes. And when it does, you're not only wet, but also without an umbrella. The key is to be proactive, not reactive. Instead of waiting for something serious to happen, it's much wiser to prevent it. Taking care of yourself should be as habitual as taking care of your image on social media. If you don't forget to update your photos or share your daily life, why ignore your health? Health isn't just the absence of illness, it's a state of overall well-being, and that well-being is also measured through medical checkups. Did you know that a regular visit to the doctor can detect issues like diabetes, hypertension, or cancer in its early stages, when the chances of successful treatment are much higher. It's a way of taking control of your life, ensuring you continue to enjoy it for many more years. Final reflection. Health is the first step towards success, as Nelson Mandela once said, and a crucial step on this path is staying attentive to our health through regular checkups. How simple is it to make an appointment for an annual checkup? Very simple, yet by not doing so, we're playing Russian roulette with our health. Today's decisions affect your future in ways we don't always understand immediately. So, the next time you're considering skipping that medical checkup, remember what the Stoics taught us. There's no greater wisdom than anticipating what may come and preparing for it. Take the time to care for yourself, because your health is the most precious asset you have. When you take care of your body, you're not only securing a healthier future, but you're also showing that you value yourself and understand what truly matters. 12. The power of saying no. How often do you find yourself agreeing to things you don't really want to do? Maybe it's attending a social event that you'd rather skip, or taking on a project at work that you know you won't have the time or energy for. At the moment, saying yes might feel like the easy option, the path of least resistance. After all, who wants to disappoint anyone? But here's the thing. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, often to your own well-being, time, and peace of mind. So, what if I told you that learning to say no could be one of the most empowering decisions you make for your life? Saying no doesn't make you rude, selfish, or unhelpful. In fact, it's one of the most essential skills for maintaining your mental and emotional health. The power of saying no lies in setting boundaries, in making sure that your energy and attention are reserved for the things that truly align with your goals and values. It's about respecting your own time and not allowing yourself to become stretched too thin. When you say yes to every request, you may end up feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and resentful, none of which are conducive to a healthy, balanced life. But here's the truth. We live in a world that often expects us to say yes all the time. We're taught that being helpful, agreeable, and accommodating is the right way to be. But this mentality can lead to burnout. Constantly putting others' needs before your own can leave you feeling depleted, unfulfilled, and even disconnected from your own desires. And what happens when you don't take care of yourself first? You lose the energy and the focus you need to be truly effective in everything else. So, how do you say no without feeling guilty? First, recognize that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your boundaries. No is a complete sentence. You don't need to apologize for prioritizing your health, happiness, and time. You can offer a simple, polite response like, "I'm unable to commit to that right now," or "I have other priorities at the moment." Most people will respect your honesty, and those who don't will likely taking advantage of your willingness to say yes without regard for your limits. Learning to say no is also a powerful tool for managing your time effectively. Every time you say no to an obligation that doesn't serve you, you create space in your life for what truly matters. That might mean more time for your personal goals, for your family, or for self-care activities like exercise, meditation, or reading. It's not just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself. By making space for your own needs, you'll find that you're able to give more genuinely when you do say yes to things that align with your true priorities. Let's not forget that saying no is an act of self-respect. It's a way of acknowledging that your time, energy, and well-being are valuable. You're telling the world and yourself that you are worthy of boundaries and of putting yourself first when necessary. It's also a way of taking control over your life and your schedule rather than letting outside demands dictate your actions. By practicing the power of no, you're asserting your autonomy and creating a life that's more intentional and fulfilling. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should say no to everything or become completely unavailable to others. There's still value in helping out when you can, in being present for loved ones, and in taking on responsibilities that align with your values. But when you learn the art of saying no mindfully, you gain the power to choose what truly deserves your time and energy and what doesn't. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to people-pleasing or if you're worried about disappointing others. But like any habit, it gets easier with practice. Start small and give yourself permission to decline things that aren't in line with your current priorities. Over time, you'll become more comfortable with it, and you'll begin to notice how much better you feel when you're not overcommitted and drained. In the end, the power of saying no is about taking control of your life, protecting your energy, and making space for the things that truly matter. When you learn to set healthy boundaries, you're not only respecting yourself, you're also creating a more meaningful and purposeful life. And that, ultimately, is the key to living well. So the next time you feel the urge to say yes out of obligation or guilt, pause and ask yourself, is this really something I want to do? If not, give yourself permission to say no. It's a small word, but one with immense power. It's a word that can change your life for the better. 13. The importance of silence in a noisy world. In today's world, it seems like we're constantly surrounded by noise. Whether it's the buzz of notifications on our phones, the endless chatter of social media, or the hum of traffic in the background, we're rarely in a space of true silence. But have you ever stopped to think about how this constant noise affects us? The truth is, silence is a rare and undervalued commodity in modern life, and yet it holds incredible power. The power to recharge, to reflect, and to reconnect with ourselves. The world is louder than ever, and it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity. With the pace of life accelerating, we're often in such a rush to do more, achieve more, and be more that we forget the importance of simply being. We fill our days with distractions, work, social media, television, endless conversations, and the pressure to stay productive all the time. But in this rush to do, we lose touch with the simple yet profound act of just being, of existing without constantly needing to be entertained or distracted. Silence is more than just the absence of sound. It's a state of mind. It's a space where you can think clearly, connect with your inner thoughts, and process your emotions without the noise of the outside world influencing your perspective. In the silence, you are free to listen to your own voice, to reflect on your experiences, and to make decisions that are aligned with your true self. When we're constantly surrounded by external noise, we can become disconnected from our own inner wisdom and lose sight of what truly matters. The Stoics understood the power of silence. They believed that in order to live virtuously, we needed to cultivate inner peace and clarity of mind. Epictetus, for example, taught that our minds should be like a calm, still pond, clear and unperturbed by external distractions. Silence allows us to achieve this state of mental clarity, and it provides us with the space to connect with our thoughts, our values, and our deeper purpose in life. In our busy world, silence can also be a form of rebellion. It's a way of pushing back against the pressure to always be on, to always be doing something. By embracing silence, we're rejecting the idea that our worth is tied to constant activity and external validation. We're choosing to be present in the moment, free from the constant need for input and stimulation. In this way, silence becomes a powerful act of self-care and self-preservation. So how can we incorporate more silence into our lives? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start by setting aside time each day to simply be in silence, whether it's for 10 minutes in the morning or a quiet walk in nature. You don't need to meditate or do anything special. Just be still, breathe, and allow yourself to exist without the pressure to do anything. You'll be surprised at how refreshing this can be for your mind and soul. Another way to embrace silence is by reducing the noise in your environment. Try turning off notifications on your phone, limiting your time on social media, or creating a designated quiet space in your home where you can retreat from the constant bustle. You'll find that without the distractions, you have more space to focus on what truly matters and more clarity in making decisions. Silence can also be a tool for deeper connection with others. In conversations, we often feel the need to fill the gaps with words, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply listen in silence. It shows respect, allows the other person to express themselves fully, and creates a sense of understanding that words alone cannot convey. Of course, silence is not always easy to find, and it can be uncomfortable at first. We may feel uneasy or anxious when faced with stillness, as if we're supposed to be doing something, achieving something, or filling the void. But this discomfort is a sign that we're not used to being alone with our thoughts. It's a sign that we've become so accustomed to noise and distraction that we've forgotten how to simply be. Embracing silence requires patience and practice, but the benefits are well worth it. In a world that's constantly demanding our attention, silence is a precious and transformative gift. It allows us to slow down, to recharge, and to reconnect with what matters most. By embracing silence, we cultivate inner peace, sharpen our focus, and gain the clarity needed to make wiser decisions. As the Stoics would say, it's in the silence that we find the strength to endure the noise of the world. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the chaos around you, remember that silence is always within reach. It's a tool for self-care, a space for reflection, and a source of power that we all too often overlook. Take a moment to embrace it and watch as it transforms the way you experience the world. If you've made it this far, why not share your experience with us? Health is something we all need to take care of, and I'd love to hear how you maintain a healthy lifestyle. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment if you found this content useful. Your support motivates us to keep creating videos that can help you. And as always, I invite you to check out the other videos we have for you. See you on our next adventure.